I was honestly shook and shocked because I was like, oh my god, Sweeney is that girl. She is like talented. She's a producer. She's boss. I was like so surprised that you like really wanted to genuinely connect.
Madam Web is the latest Marvel and Sony film to crawl into theaters.
You want to live, you have to trust me.
The Hollywood Reporter spoke with the stars all about the intensive training they had to do before filming the action movie and how they bonded as a cast on and off set. The movie sees Dakota Johnson, Sweeney, Isabela Merced, and Celeste play a group of people who are essentially on their own in the world until they find each other.
What do you think this movie says about the power of a chosen family?
Yeah, I think that message is so powerful and so strong in this movie. It just speaks to the universality of loneliness, I think, and isolation. We end up being vulnerable with each other and connecting and finding friendship in a really unexpected place.
I think it's so important, you know, the people that you choose in your life, that's like really your biggest story. And I love how they choose each other and they protect each other and they really do become this sort of unconventional family.
I feel like that's kind of our own story too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're often paired up with a bunch of actors and they're just like, be best friends. Do it. Be best friends and then we'll start shooting. But it's like, no, this is very natural for us, and I do think that in society today, like, we lack a lot of connection and like valuing it. And so I really do like that message. I agree with you.
Yeah. I love to hear that that's natural for all of you, and you actually became friends on set.
Yeah, we did.
What sort of things did you do off set to bond and strengthen that bond?
We had movie nights. We would go out and eat all the
We would go
time.
shoplifting all the time. No. We so many things. It's really a bond too.
It was so fun.
Sydney, when I've talked to you before, you said that you are the activity organizer.
Yes.
And so it sounds like, was she the activity organizer this time? And what sort of activities did she organize?
Totally. She had us working out. Like, she would literally text in our group chat and be like, okay, girls, so here are the dates and the times for Pilates. Like, join whenever you want. We're going to go to Solid Core. And I was like, wow, like, she's so cool.
Yeah, organizes a lot. Like, I can't even probably list them all. There's so many things she organized.
I know that they did like Pilates and pottery, but I was working. They got to do really fun stuff and I just was like, if I wasn't working, I was asleep.
When you're filming in all these places with all these new people, it's a constant rotation of new environment and new people. And I have tried to, in the last few years, find the importance and take time to build the lasting relationships and the bonds with people, because in reality, we don't really have that much time to truly build a friendship.
I was honestly shook and shocked because I was like, oh my god, Sweeney is that girl. She is like talented. She's a producer. She's boss. I was like so surprised that you like really wanted to genuinely connect. Pleasantly surprised, you know?
Thanks.
And then we all actually became
I'm just glad you
besties.
But before filming began, the cast had to do some serious preparation.
What sort of combat and stunt training did you have to do before filming this movie?
I did a lot. Yeah, an average of 4 to 5 times a week with a personal trainer to get toned and strong like a spider, and with the stuntman, the fighting choreographies and the wires and all of it.
A lot of like running and jumping and being thrown up in the air, and then the fun part, I think, for all of us was like figuring out our pose for when we land from the ceiling or whatever architecture that we're choosing. We would look at the comic books, see what they did in the comic books, and then like create a variation of that that's possible for a human body.
I did a day of stunt driving training, which was very fun, and then a lot of like working out and hand-to-hand combat and just like figuring out what Cassie's fighting style was, because she's not like a typical superhero where she has certain kind of physical movement that's recognizable. You know, her power is in her mind. So figuring out her fighting technique was fun because she's an orphan. She grew up in the foster system. I thought that she would be quite scrappy and wild when it comes to fighting.
Johnson also went through freediving training to prepare for the film's underwater scenes.
That was really fun. I learned how to hold my breath for quite a long time, and it's such an incredible, like, meditative skill to learn. It's amazing what you can teach your body to do. I think the longest that I did on set was like 3.5 minutes.
Madam Web is now playing in theaters. For more on the film, go to THR.com. For The Hollywood Reporter News, I'm Tiffany Taylor.